Good morning to those who listen. May 23rd, 2026. It's 12:20 a.m. And this is a video about the predictive programming / hidden messages in the new Netflix series, The Boroughs. Well, what is this? This is Leave the World Behind. Well, it's because I want to show a parallel, I think, from this movie to The Boroughs. So we got this weird thing. It's like a little, so this house that they went to, there's like a circular driveway thing. And I'll show you in the Boroughs, there's something kind of similar to that, that's what it reminded me of. But in this one, it has like this key. I was like looking at this like a key. And the stones, there's one stone missing too, which I'm not sure what that means exactly. There's a flagpole there, but you can't see the flag. You can see the shadow of the flag. But if you look at the shadow, it's at half mast. But I'll show you now how the Boroughs have something similar to this and other things too. So here is the Boroughs, and if you look, it looks kind of like that keyhole thing. This looks more like the keyhole than the driveway thing. Okay, now I got, at least it didn't put that thing there. There we go, sorry. This time I didn't want the brightness turned down. But, okay, so there's that. Well, maybe a little. Okay. Right. What? I don't know what happened there. Anyway, it kind of looks like Leave the World Behind. All right, so first off, I want to say, if you haven't watched this and you want to watch this and you don't want it to be spoiled, then you might want to wait to watch this video. If you don't care and just want to see what maybe the predictive programming in here is, then keep watching. But if this is your warning, spoiler alerts are coming. So you got 5 seconds, and then I'm going to start talking about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, if you're still here, then you just want to hear about what's going on. You're not planning on watching it, or if you're watching it, you don't care if you hear what's going on. All right, so the Boroughs is a retirement community way out in the middle of the New Mexico desert. Oh, the Boroughs is also from the Duffer Brothers, who did Stranger Things. And there's a lot of Stranger Things elements in this show. So, where do I start? Okay, so they're out in the middle of the desert. It's a retirement community for older people. The main character in this just moves out there. His wife just died, and he's going to spend the rest of his days out in this retirement community. He's a grumpy old man. He doesn't want to deal with any people and all that, but he has to because of what happens. So, where do we go? So, reluctantly, he moves in, and then he reluctantly meets the neighbors. He's not wanting to at first, but then he gives in and then does. Trying to think where to start here. All right, so this community it's not even its own like city or town or anything. So it's not under the jurisdiction of certain things like schools, no schools. There is no police department. They have security guards, but not police. So if something happens, they try to handle it themselves in there. So meets the neighbors, goes to a party. He has some thing where he sees visions of his wife dying, and it kind of overwhelms him, and he goes into like some kind of a episode, I guess, where he's thinking it's his wife. He's seeing his wife dying again, even though he knows that she already died. Anyway, that's not important. Okay, so I'm just going to get to the main things in here. The community is way out in the middle of the desert. It's a round circular, and let me show you. Okay, it flashes out in between brightness and darkness. So I might have to switch the brightness and darkness, but see, like that. So normally there. Now that's fine as long as it's in this sense. All right, here's the opening credits for it, and it shows all this weird stuff. It's got these circles, they start spinning and stuff, so it's like a hypnotizing thing. You know, what is that guy at the top? It's like a miner. Is there something with that? Didn't notice that before. This reminds me of the test patterns on the TVs back in the old days. In the old days. But, yeah, I don't know. I think there's something with this, so I went ahead a little bit. I can't play it because I'll get copyrights, but these weird circles remind me of like satellites, maybe sending signals or something. And then it starts turning into this. And here's where I think that this relates to CERN. And if you've watched Stranger Things, that's what it was about. It was about CERN releasing demons from other dimensions. And I think this show is more about aliens. There's an alien in here. At least that's what I think it is. And this is out near, I guess, Roswell. And somebody mentioned in there 1947. So that's a reference to Roswell. But you'll see more imagery where it looks more like CERN. Then you have some... This is going to be annoying. You got some weird stuff floating. We have like the snow, the dust, the snow, from like TVs. That's what it kind of looks like. It also kind of looks like nanobots or the geograph. You know what I'm talking about? But there's also some frequency stuff going on too. Because there's a scene where there's a bunch of birds. You know how you see the birds where they're all flying together, like, and then they're going back and forth. Well, something happens where they start doing that, and then they all just suddenly all go straight down to the ground, and they all die. And of course we got. Why does that keep happening right when I pause it? Got the sun simulator like shining through, and that's birds, but I don't think that's birds. I think it's something else. Something like black with a letter G and a couple O's on the end. And then there's frequency stuff going on, like you see TVs, where there's like wavy lines going through. You don't see that now, but back in the day. Then we got this weird stuff like vine-like stuff like they had kind of in Stranger Things. And then we got a whole bunch of weird twisting around. This thing is all twisting around. And it's like showing, like, I'm guessing space and, I don't know, some portals. I don't know what's going on here. So then we got this weird light, too. There's something to do with this bright, intense light, like a big explosion of light that comes through the TV set. And we're talking an old TV set, too, not none of these new ones. We're talking something that looked like it's from the 60s or the 70s. And then we got this, which looks kind of like a halo, except it's really elongated. Yeah, wow. It does. Oh, it also kind of reminds me of like the opening theme to the Twilight Zone, too. Look where I caught it. So it dances around. Dances around, and these lights are all spinning around and stuff, too. Come on. Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. It kind of looks like a face. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Here's where the portal images come in. This reminds me of CERN. Maybe they're smashing atoms, particles, dark matter. And then the end of the opening theme, it shows this, which looks like CERN, except it's all lit up. And then everything else just looks like it's out in space. His house number is 1472. I looked that up, and 1472 comes up with the Great Comet of 1472. And then I saw something with railroad, like old railroads, old trains, and I didn't think nothing of that. But then he wears a shirt that has old train cars on it. And in this scene, you can kind of see the driveway. I'll find a better spot. And the driveway looks like that keyhole thing for Leave the World Behind. And look, here's Hopper from Stranger Things. So he's the head of security in this community, and the residents are reporting that their quartz items, whatever they have, items of quartz, is being stolen. But he doesn't want to look into it because he's too lazy. It's too much work. But I haven't figured out whatever they need the quartz for, or who needs the quartz, whatever is what that hasn't. We haven't got that far in there. I've watched 2 episodes so far. But yeah, they don't want to do nothing about it. But there's something going on where all their quartz is being stolen. For some reason, this room, which is supposed to be where all the people that have mental problems, Alzheimer's, dementia, they put them in this community away from the other people. But for some reason, this room reminds me of the room that was in Stranger Things, where the kids were that were being experimented on. All right, here's your warning. Here's a look at what this alien looks like. They always make them, I don't know, lately, these weird movies lately make the aliens out to be like these weird giant spiders. Here's a little bit better look of the cul-de-sac, kind of, except we don't see the part where it goes out, and it makes it look like the key from Leave the World Behind. All right, now it might be hard to see, but here's where he's wearing that t-shirt with the train cars on it. Yeah, it's not easy to see. No, it's definitely not easy to see. So then Ed Begley Jr., him and his wife lived in the house that he now lives in, but he was kind of, not in his right mind, so he was put into this place here. But the wife was living in the house, and then she got attacked and from the weird alien, and now he's living there, and it's there. It's actually going house to house. I don't know, it's really strange. Oh, but what I forgot to say is he's saying that there's an owl living in the walls, and he locked it up and put the key in the light, and everybody thinks he's crazy, but then he winds up tearing out all the lights to find this key, which he does. Okay, this is kind of this is that cul-de-sac thing, and then it goes out like that. So it looks like from Leave the World Behind. So this guy sees all the birds doing the weird stuff, and he thinks it's some spiritual thing that the birds, the crows, because these are all crows, and it's considered a murder of crows, but they supposedly take the dead into the next, to the final resting place or something like that. Here's another cul-de-sac thing, kind of looking at it. So he finds the owl in the storage room, but it wasn't in the walls, it was in a storage room. So at the end of episode 2, the guy in the house, why do they have to keep doing that? He finds blood from the creature, whatever alien thing, and the blood has some kind of weird reaction with the TV set. Remember, this is an old TV set, not the new ones. And it activates something and causes a bright light and an explosion. The thing comes off the spoon and starts reacting with the TV set. So when he first turns on the TV set, it's just playing the program, and then all of a sudden this whatever starts activating and messes with the frequencies. It turns off and it's just the snow, and the thing starts spinning around, which reminds me of CERN because it's like spinning, then they collide the atoms, right? So it does that, and then I'll show you what happens. It keeps spinning and spinning and spinning faster and faster and faster. And the radio dial over there starts going back and forth. Then there's an explosion. And it goes into this. So then the one guy, he starts walking around into it, and he's like interacting with whatever happened, which to me just reminds me of an explosion like CERN when they're smashing the atoms together, and then there's a, and then whatever happens after that happens. So he's touching it and moving it around, and it moves as he's moving around. So he asks, "What is it?" And he says, "It's a miracle." So that was pretty much the end right there of episode 2. So I don't know what happens after that, but I will probably wind up doing another video or 2 or 3 about this. Oh, I just noticed. The first episode was Welcome to the Boroughs. This episode was called The Morning After. And it's like mourning as in grieving. Because the one guy, he wound up dying. And so what? There was 2 people that died already in the beginning. And that guy here has terminal cancer, so he's going to be dying too. Unless somehow this has something to do with his recovery. So, in conclusion, I think that this somehow has something to do with CERN and with aliens and maybe an alien disclosure, possibly with Roswell, because they mentioned 1947. And we're going to be having the disclosure days coming up on June 12th, and then supposedly Trump's speech, and then the Roswell anniversary, I believe, is July 7th. So something big is going to be happening soon. We just had a big release of some more UFO files. Anyway, this wound up being a long video. Thanks for watching. God bless.